Once upon a time, two twin brothers were born in a settlement. Though the difference in the time of birth was only several minutes, during the whole further life, the firstborn boy considered himself the elder and the smarter brother. When the brothers grew up, it happened that the wanderer was passing through their settlement and stayed overnight in their house. He turned to be a spiritual and wise man. At that time, the people of that settlement were at war with the neighboring people. That war had already brought much sorrow to people, but nobody knew how to avoid war and death, and the brothers asked the wise man for advice. Upon listening to them, spiritual man told them common truth about the essence of life and death. He told them what was going on in the world of people, narrated about the dual nature of people. He described what kept a man chained up with ignorance and how he could free himself from those chains. He told how to find one's right way, save one's soul, and reach what was beyond the bounds of life and death. And in the end, he said, one can become free from death only after he learns the truth. The truth belongs to inner value. The way to the truth belongs to outer value. And only after you pass this way to the end, you will learn the truth and become free from death. But each of the brothers understood the words of the wise man in his own way, and each of them chose his own way to save his soul. The elder brother decided to perfect himself in spiritual knowledge. He left his native place to avoid participation in the war. He traveled over many countries where he studied religions of local people and picked up from them what he considered the best, able to bring him quicker to gaining that inner value. And after all, he acquired the very different knowledge and experience, and he succeeded in his efforts so much that he started considering himself as an enlightened person, favored by the high power. He came to believe in that so much that many people believed him too and became his followers. As for the younger brother, he went to people and started telling them the common truth that he had heard from the wise man. Some people considered his words, the others were laughing. They thought that everything in the world was determined by the rulers who listened to the god's pieces of advice. But soon, even those who were laughing lent an attentive ear to the young man's words, because his words were truthful. There was the truth in them. And people told him that they didn't want to be at war. They didn't want to kill anybody and they didn't want to die. But what could they do if their rulers made them fight? And the young man replied, if the rulers can destroy, but aren't able to create, then what is their merit? If they are unable to raise people from the dead, then how can they doom them to death? Anyone can cut a branch from a tree, but only a master can join it back to the tree. But any ruler is only a man, and he is afraid of death just like any one of you. That's why he is hiding behind his soldiers' back, issuing decrees. But these are you who carry out his decrees. There is only one ruler, and there are many of you. He deceives you saying that he is strong, because his strength lies in you, who fulfill his will in defiance of your own willing. If the people lay down arms, there will be nobody to struggle. The strength of a mountain is not in the stone on its peak, but in the mountain's solidity. And people got inspired with his wisdom. The truth reached their mind. The people lay down arms. So thanks to an ordinary young man who passed words of the truth from a wise man to people, the war stopped and the peace came to that place. And many lives were saved by the truth, and many peoples found their way to the truth. But time flies. Years of the brothers' lives came to the end. They died on the same day, just like they were born. Thanks to the tireless effort, the elder brother went so far in his spiritual development that he managed to appear before the god, behind whom there was the Chinwood Bridge. And he was granted the possibility to see with his own eyes how his younger brother crossed this bridge, and the god himself opened the pearly gates to him. And the highly spiritual elder brother was impressed by what he saw so much that in all his 9 subsequent reincarnations he followed firmly the spiritual way of the younger brother, keeping the seen event in his memory and telling people about it.